You want to know what's really crazy? It just kind of dawned on me the other day. The gaming industry literally hates you. They don't want anything to do with you. If they could dump you aside and never ask for your money ever again, I truly think they actually would. And it's really astounding to me how everybody in this industry, save for just a few specific companies, are going around and literally falling on the sword of every single online safety act, requiring digital IDs to be part to use the consoles that you've already purchased. To make matters even worse, with that safety act as well, they're trying to ban VPNs, so you can't do anything else either, and you're under their specific control. Then comes everything with Stop Killing Games, which really, these two things do tie together. Trust me, you're going to want to see this. And how SKG was literally lambasted by people who were propped up from this industry alone, and how SKG had the kibosh put into it until Ross Scott came out with a video showcasing all the massive amounts of misinformation. And now we're seeing the ramifications of all that coming to a head. Because not only is SKG growing in size, it turns out at the same time, it is being battled by the exact industry that it's trying to save. But you see, Stop Killing Games isn't just about video games. No, it also has to do with basically any sort of specific freedom that you have in the electronic industry as well. People think, oh, it's just video games. It doesn't matter to me. I play live service games. I'm basically done. See, that's where you're wrong. Owning a video game, playing that game that you paid for, by the way, with your hard-earned money is really exactly what should be the forefront behind all of this. And it turns out, however, that SKG, again, is not just about gaming, but about your actual freedoms as well. Because according to Eurogamer, it says this: "It's frustrating to see policymakers suddenly claim everything is for our safety. Stop Killing Games joins pushback against age verification laws." With Ross Scott on Twitter a few days ago saying this: "While too big for hashtag Stop Killing Games to tackle directly, SKG supports pushback against the age verification laws, which will make distros of Linux illegal in California and have caused the game Urban Dead to be killed. This could potentially outlaw private servers." We are merely looking at just the beginning of what could be happening if SKG is in fact not successful. And the actual fact that they've gone behind and are against the real ID laws is exactly what we should be parading and celebrating, and why everybody should be in fact against this. I've talked about this before, by the way, with how every other major company is now requiring your ID to literally use the systems, the services, and everything else in place that you in fact already pay for. Those things that you pay for, they also raise the price on them, and it makes things exponentially worse. Oh, did you buy a $700 or $900 console? Well, you can't use the online services until you give PlayStation your actual ID. Did you buy a brand new phone? Whoops, too bad. You can't use any app on your phone unless you go around and give Apple your ID as well. And the government is wanting to see exactly what you're doing, what you're saying, and now what you're playing. And that's where things get incredibly concerning. And if SKG wasn't involved in this in some way, things could be going from bad to worse even faster. And shining a light on what's been happening is exactly what we need to see right now. With the article saying this, the Stop Killing Games statement goes on to emphasize that this isn't just a UK issue, pointed to California's Digital Age Assurance Act, AB 1043, which it believes makes independent software harder to maintain due to requiring age assurance checks in operating systems, software distribution, and even app stores. It also acknowledges that child safety is important, but believes this is the wrong approach to solving the problem. Quote, "It's frustrating to see policymakers suddenly claim everything is for our safety, while young people are often left to deal with the bigger problems on their own elsewhere. And even when the goal is reasonable, this approach goes far beyond what is normal or proportionate. Mission creep is real, and some actors don't just creep. The issue is that blunt access bans and mandatory age checks do not fix the root causes of online harm." They often create new gatekeepers, collect more sensitive data, and make the open web harder to use. They also risk punishing the small community projects that are at least able to comply, while the largest platforms adapt and become even more entrenched. And SKG is completely correct about age verification. Look at what's been happening right now recently, especially with all the new recompiled games that are coming out for Steam and even the PC. Practically every Nintendo game is being recompiled, even though you have to have your own ROM to run the actual game to be available to actually play. If SKG fails on this aspect and you're no longer able to make those kinds of recompiled games, or all these other companies now require your actual photo ID, every other major company like Nintendo, PlayStation, Microsoft, and etc. can pinpoint to who you are, sue you into the sun, and let every other video game crumble under the weight of literally just disappearing because every other major company just wants to sit on the IP and do nothing with it. We saw Turtle Wow close its servers recently, and we're seeing so many other games being brought back into the limelight that could be resold, remade, re-released, or even remastered to bring out to the users to keep those games alive. Yet for some reason, we don't. These kinds of things are left up to the actual user themselves, to the fans of that game, or the people in that community to keep these games alive, when it really should be part of the actual company's motto to do so in perpetuity. And that's really what's got me hot under the collar about this entire thing. The fact that SKG could see what in fact is happening with adding your real ID into basically everything on the planet is never a good sign. We saw what happened with Discord having everything being hacked and leaked. We saw PlayStation being unable to keep any of their data throughout the entire PS3 lifecycle and still get hacked consistently even to this day. And then we're seeing companies like Microsoft work with those exact same other companies who don't care about your identification and just want to ship off your information to the government so that way they can go ahead and track who you are and control everything on the back end. Because that's what this is all about. It's not about safety. It's not about fun. It's not about monitoring what you're doing. It's about actual control. Control about what you play, what you say, and how you enjoy your content. And here is where things get even worse. Not only is the government trying to stop you from doing something, it turns out the actual gaming industry itself is doing the exact same thing. Because according to PC Gamer, game industry lobby group that argued against preservation efforts from libraries is now pushing back on Stop Killing Games, saying it could prevent new games, features, and technology. Oh, that's right. Now we've got groups lobbying against the SKG. Really weird when you think about it, right? I wonder what group is going to be doing the lobbying now. Is it one that we might have heard of? Is it one that we've talked about before? Or is it one that has been absolutely ruining the entire gaming industry? Surprise. It's all three. With the article by PC Gamer saying this: in April, Stop Killing Games endorsed the Protect Our Games Act, formerly known as AB 1921, which, if adopted, is still working its way through the California legislature, would compel game makers to notify owners in advance of coming server shutdowns and either provide a version of that game that can be used without online services, patch the existing games so servers are no longer required, or provide a full refund. That bill provoked a strong response from the Entertainment Software Association, also known as the ESA, and their name you probably haven't heard in a very long time. Don't worry, we'll get into it. The lobbying group that represents the game industry in the US, saying, quote, many games depend on evolving technology, licensed content, and online systems that change over time. Oh, would you look at that? Now we have the ESA getting involved with Stop Killing Games, the literal gaming industry itself, who went around and was trying to remove any ownership whatsoever of you, the consumer, the user, and even the buyer. That's right. The industry itself is going against you from owning anything at all. Apparently, you will in fact own nothing and be incredibly unhappy about what's in fact happening, even though this is the same gaming industry that will listen to companies like Bank of America to increase the price of GTA 6 to $80 to make every other game sell at $80 as well. This is the same ESA that wanted to go ahead and shut down E3 because apparently there wasn't enough money being funneled into the entire thing in the fucking first place. And also, to make matters even crazier, the ESA is also the exact same lobbying group that has gone ahead to go against libraries trying to maintain or even keep video games as part of a preservation or an online catalog. Oh, now we've got everything coming into focus now, don't we? The lobby group that is paid for by the gaming industry themselves are being told what to say, how to say, and remove any ownership from you whatsoever. And yet when we see stupid things online, like Nvidia charging you per minute of using GeForce Online, on how Xbox is trying to push cloud streaming services, and we're seeing console prices increase to an astronomical level, it can only mean one thing. They're trying to stop you from having any ownership at all whatsoever on your own device or even own a device in the first place. God, don't you love the ESA, boys? What a great lobbying company, doing everything they can to on a consistent basis, all because they want to make sure that you keep paying them and you're doing nothing more than owning less than nothing. What an absolute trash fire. But they said even more. So let's keep going. With the ESA saying, quote, Assembly Bill 1921 could force developers to spend limited time and resources keeping old systems running instead of creating new games, features, and technology. In the end, this policy doesn't reflect how games actually work today. This bill sets strict rules that could ultimately mean fewer new and innovative experiences for players. Hold on there, Chief. I'm going to stop you right there real quick. We got to have a little conversation about that last paragraph. Look, I don't know about you, but I haven't had any sort of like new and insane experience happening in video games for about 10 years plus, besides Expedition 33. And the only reason that game was good was because it harkened back to the previous games of the PS1 and PS2. Cha-cha. Boy, new and innovative experiences overall, am I right? Yeah, nice job. I don't think so, Tim. This absolutely ridiculous statement to walk around and say like, oh, you guys, but publishers got to spend more money. Developers got to spend more time. Here, check this out. Back in the 90s and 2000s, we already had offline bots in many multiplayer games. Quake 3 Arena was a perfect example. You could have offline bots, play the game single player, and it was a multiplayer only focused title. Surprise! If we could do it back in the 90s and 2000s, why can't we do it now? I need to know. Back then, technology was cutting edge. It's still cutting edge now. And we can't figure it out. We can't figure out offline bots. We can't figure out an offline mode altogether. And the funny part is, even PC Gamer, in fact, called this out. Check it out. With the article from PC Gamer responding and saying this, I'm not sure that's entirely accurate. In the case of The Crew, for instance, that game that started all of this, fans were able to bring it back to life, despite Ubisoft's concerted efforts to bury it deep. There are also already examples of game studios, most of them without their resources, of big publishers represented by the ESA, ensuring their games live long beyond their years. And now you see why these companies and these internet providers and everything else wants your ID. They don't want it to protect the kids. They want it because they know if they can pinpoint to who you are and what kind of content that you're making or the way you're trying to manipulate the license of a video game that you bought, they can go after you legally because they have your name, they have your info, they have the stuff that you made, and they have your entire online persona all wrapped up in a nice little bow. This is why SKG is against the Online Safety Act. This is why I'm against you giving your ID to many major companies, because clearly these companies do not have your best interest at all whatsoever, period, point blank. And that is a massive problem. Hell, the only company that I can think that has that is Valve. And then people will turn around and ask me, hey, Alex, why do you like Valve and GOG so much? Oh, I don't know. Maybe because when the entire idea of licenses or ownership of games came around, Valve told you specifically, hey, bro, you're buying a license to this game, just giving you a heads up before you make the purchase. And they did that before anybody else did. GOG, on the other hand, just gives you the entire installer file and says, have fun, bro. We don't give a fuck. That's how it's supposed to be. And that's exactly perfectly fine. Many games on Steam don't even have DRM, or even in the same case, you can take the executable file from your folder, put it on your desktop, and run the game without Steam even opening. But nobody knows that, not even Linus apparently. And that's the incredibly concerning part. We're not talking about just the safety of being online. We're not talking about ownership. We're talking about direct control of video games. The fact that the ESA walked out and made this statement against SKG and were saying, guys, please think of the publishers who are multimillionaires. Think of the developers who drive all the sports cars. Think of all the massive multi-billion-dollar corporations that have to spend a little bit more money so you can own the actual product that you pay for. Give you a refund? Why on earth would they ever do that? You don't want to disappoint the shareholders now, do you? Yeah, right. And think about it from this perspective. Why do you think everybody is in fact worried about the Steam machine? And I'm not talking about like PlayStation or Xbox. I'm talking about the gaming industry itself. They're worried about it because it is in fact a full-on Linux-based PC. And what is going to be happening with the real identification? Well, they're going to be requiring operating systems like Linux to have a real identification setup being placed into that OS. So SteamOS would be a factor for that as well. Monitoring the games you play, what you do, how you use the machine, and what's happening on every single second that thing is turned on or even powered off. And that's even scarier when you really think about it. Want to use a Steam machine to make mods? Too bad you can't. The ESA said no, you gave your ID, they know who you are, and they're knocking at your door right now. Congratulations, you made an oopsie poopsie. And this is why everybody is so angry about the ESA, and why I think you should also back Stop Killing Games as well. This really won't go over good at all, and people are emphatically pissed. Myself included, and so many others. Check this out. With Moritz Katzner on Twitter saying this, the industry is lobbying against Stop Killing Games again. The Entertainment Software Association lobby is opposing AB 1921, California's Protect Our Games Act, with the usual arguments. Games are licensed, servers are complicated, security risks, too expensive. With She Old Bread Whispering Bun saying this, that's funny because every issue these corpo cockers have brought up already have counterpoints and solutions brought up right in the EU Parliament by the Stop Killing Games team. With Deflute Gaming saying, where's the security risk of making a game playable completely offline? How is it expensive to not have players depend on your servers? Why do you care about security risks of a game you no longer support? I wish I was a judge or had the power to fix this industry, man. Running with Scissors says this, ESA, we now need a Stop Killing Games movement. And Does It Play also saying this, pure villain behavior from the ESA once again. At this point, it should be a PR liability to be a part of this group. Imagine opposing customer rights and the preservation of history. Couldn't look ourselves in the face anymore if that was our stance. And everybody in those replies and in those threads against the ESA is 100% correct. There is no security risk. There is no more money being spent. There is more dedicated server issues because if they shut the servers off, they still keep your money and you have zero product overall. Remember, like I said before, the ESA even lobbied against libraries having video games as preservation programs, even though the library itself preserves every book. That's the whole point. I just can't, bro. I really just can't. It's actually absurd how so many companies are literally against you. And then when I talk about the good that Valve does, people call me a Valve glazer. Oh, you talk about Valve all the time and how good they're doing. I don't know. They're not lobbying against the gaming industry removing your games. They're one of the few companies that go around and provide you the information of what you're buying. You don't even need Steam open to play most of those games either. And if it has DRM, they tell you it has DRM on top of that. What do you want me to do, bro? Like, come on. If any other company on the face of the earth in the gaming industry took like 50% of what Valve does, we would be in an entirely different ballpark of video gaming right now. You'd probably own your video games. You probably wouldn't need to be online 24/7. You wouldn't have 14-day DRM check-ins like we're seeing on PlayStation. You wouldn't have all this garbage you're dealing with, and you wouldn't have an entire lobbying company going around stopping you from having ownership of a video game. I just can't. I really can't. It's actually absurd to me that these companies and these lobbies go around and are defending the entire industry that is trying to screw you every single time. And the crazier part is, this industry that's trying to screw you also wants your money. Bro, if you want my money, at least talk to me nice first before you like, that's what I'm talking. Like, what are we doing here, bro? How is it that the ESA has this much say, this much pull, and have the stupidest arguments ever? I want to see who the ESA is lobbying for. That's the real ticket right here. So we can find out exactly which publishers and developers are literally pushing this kind of agenda forward. Because if they're lobbying for the gaming industry, that tells me the biggest players in gaming right now don't like you. They don't want anything to do with you. And all they want is to siphon your money out of your back pocket and then never hear from you ever again. You're a burden to the gaming industry. Have you realized that? The hobby that you love, the thing that you enjoy the most, the thing that gives you joy for a few hours every day, the industry itself considers you a burden. And they want to take away the one thing that brings you joy away from you. Like, think about how insane that is. So do yourself a favor, ladies and gentlemen. When that Steam machine gets announced, grab one for yourself. Because clearly, these companies don't care about you. And the only way you're going to be able to own your products is if you actually pirate them moving forward. I know, it's crazy to say, but the reality is that we're living that right now. And that's the terrifying thing. But as always, I want to hear what you guys got to say about this in the comment section down below. Do you agree with the ESA? Do you disagree? Or are you going to go ahead and find other ways of obtaining the games that you want to play so you can own them directly and keep them in your library? I want to see what you guys got to say in that comment section down below. And speaking about that, here's the comment of the day from yesterday's video, with Moku Magic's comment saying, "This is why I'm happy with my retro consoles and games. They can't monetize that." And Moku, that's exactly what these companies in the ESA want. If you can play your game in perpetuity and never have to worry about paying them more money, that's bad for them. They got to make sure you keep paying. So they make you buy a new live service game, shut down the servers, launch a new one, do the same thing to you over and over again, putting you on the treadmill of constantly paying for nothing. And the thing is, retro games and ownership are exactly what they don't want. And it's exactly why the ESA stopped preservation of games in the libraries and why they are trying to go against SKG. Isn't that weird how it all fits together? It's kind of wild when you think about it now, isn't it? But with all that being said, if you guys want to see more of this kind of content though, more PC port reviews, gaming news, Steam Deck videos, fanboy content, and even live streams, subscribe to the channel. If you want Discord access or emotes during those live streams as well, become a YouTube member. It's as low as $1. Look, if you don't want to spend the buck, don't sweat it. Just come on down to the streams Saturday night, 8:45 p.m. Eastern, live right here on this channel as I wear a banana suit and get insulted with text-to-speech. It's actually insane. Very similar to, I would say, Sábado Gigante for my Latinos out there in the audience. And honestly, you're going to love it. Saturday nights, 8:45 p.m. Eastern, right here on the channel. Do you want even more of me though? Check out Oh No It's Alex Gaming. It's my second channel, and the link to that is in the description down below. I upload a video every single Monday, and I'm also testing out daily streams starting at 10 a.m. It's been a hell of a lot of fun so far, and if you're catching this now, I might even be live on that channel. So go ahead and check it out. Say what's up. We're playing at a couple of games and hanging out with the best community on YouTube. As always, thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you have a great one, and I'll see you gooners next time. Peace!